This will be part 2 of the grooming video. This dog has obviously had the clip ring part done. We're just out of the tub, so just doing a rough towel dry, and then we will start to comb out and trim the leg furnishings. Always like to trim the leg furnishings damp. Some people prefer dry, but I prefer damp, and it's a whole lot easier for me. So we shall start. So to start this process, you need a pin brush, combination comb, a good pair of shears, possibly thinning shears. Not always something we use, but sometimes you do need it if there's matted areas. So to start, I'm just going to take the bulk off some of these feet, just by trimming from the back of the pads, just a little bit excess off the sides, not a lot. But ideally you just want to get them used to the scissors and trim that fur from between the pads that you didn't already clip out in the main area, just to make that a little cleaner. And we'll do that to all 4 feet. Just a rough cut, but primarily just to get the fur out. Just pull it out from between the pads there so you have a nice clean traction for the dogs on the ground. So pull that foot out and just trim that off. Get that out from between the pads. And you got 4 feet, so we got 1 more to do. Thank you very much. You always want to scissor freshly bathed fur. You never want to scissor fur that may have any grime or grit in it, because it'll destroy your scissors. And scissors are expensive. Okay. So now we want to comb this dog out, make sure there's no knots. So we're going to do that primarily with the wire brush. Comb the fringe down, and then we're going to comb everything else pretty much against the grain, which is actually covered off in our brushing and combing video as well. You can hear there's some tension there, but this dog is also just out of the tub. We'll check our work with the fat end of the comb, just to make sure there's no knots. Can't trim a coat with knots in it. 1 done. Turn around. Let's see if we can get that a better angle so that people can see it. Good girl. Okay, and then we're going to brush this leg rather, all against the grain. From the pad straight up on the inside. Treat the whole leg like a cylinder, and you can grip those front 2 nails, pull that up, and then again just check your work with the fat end of the comb. It's nicely combed out. For the underbelly, the underline, just run your brush through it. And we'll do that on both sides. This side might be a little difficult for you to see. Oh. And then again, we'll just check that with the comb. Oh, there was a little knot there. Oopsie. Okay, now the front legs. So we're going to grab that front paw. And again, everything against the grain. All the way around on the inside, from the knee up. You got that little nubby in the back to watch for. And then make sure you get from the toes, get the fur out from between the toes, brush it all up. And then again, take your fat end of the comb, go through your work, make sure all the little knots are out and we're good. And 1 more leg on this dog. We got 4 legs to do. wonder why grooming costs so much money. It's the whole body, not just the head, like it is in a human. And again, we're going to check that leg. And just go under the arm and just down that chest fringe as well. Head and beard. Just make sure that there's no knots here. I don't think there should be in this dog, but so always remember you're parting the beard so it all comes forward and then gets parted on either side of the nose so that black mask comes down and over. Those are monster eyebrows, but we're going to fix that. Now we had clippered both sides of the ears, so now we're going to just take our scissors and trim very carefully around the edges of those ears just to even that off. Clipper does a good job, but we just want to trim the edges just to give a nice finish there. Good girl. It's easier to do this in the noose, isn't it? Yeah, we're just trying to keep closer to the camera. So again, just trim around, pull that any fur out from both sides. Just trim around that ear. Okay, now eyebrows. What to do? This is a interesting topic. Everybody has a slightly different opinion on eyebrows. Even in the show ring, you're going to see variances. But to start with here, we're just going to expose the eye, and there'll be some short pieces just at the inner corner of the eye that you're very carefully going to scissor away. And just be careful not to cut this because that stays long. If once you start cutting it, it's just a pain because it grows up into the eyes on a continual basis every single time, so you never want to cut that from the stalk forward. So now we can see your eyes. Just got a little bit there we want to trim. Okay. So, to start with these monster eyebrows, first of all, we got to differentiate what is eyebrow and what is beard. So let's just get rid of the bulk of these eyebrows for a minute and open up the eye, and then we can see where there is a differentiation between beard and eyebrow. So we're going to hold the beard down because we don't want to accidentally cut it. So from the corner of the eye where you've stopped clippering a 1/4 inch behind, we're just going to take the scissors and cut straight up and get rid of that bulk on the side. Now believe it or not, that actually opens their vision. You don't have to take the length off the brow to give them vision. Doing that simple cut actually opens up their vision. People think, oh, they need to cut it straight across. No, 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 no. So again on this side, I'm hoping you can see this. You can see the differentiation. So again, hold the beard part down so you don't cut that. And then just cut straight up to give that eye a nice definition. Okay, so now we've got really funky looking eyebrows. So we're going to, basically, you're going to comb the eyebrow to the side to start. You may need to just put your thumb on the beard part, just again, so you don't accidentally cut that as part of the brow. And again, you really want to cut from the corner of the eye out with the longest part at the nose. So we really don't want to cut the length so much, as we want to cut the sides off to open up that eye. Hopefully you can see better on this side. Sorry, we got one piece there that we missed. Okay. So we're going to comb this brow forward. And then with your scissors, cut the side off. And don't worry about the length too much right now. It's more the side you're after opening up the vision on that side on a forward manner. Okay, so now we have to shape these brows. Now you can comb them forward, and really personal preference. Some people like to leave them long and wispy with the tips coming to the nose. Other people prefer them shorter. What's right, what's wrong, it's really personal taste. But for me, I sort of like it at a halfway point. I find it's a little bit cleaner. So I'm probably going to block this, but now I'm going to come back. I'm going to take this and just take a little bit more off the side. And you just keep going over it, because you're going to find every time you comb it, it's going to go just a little bit differently. Then when you comb it forward, sometimes you need to even sculpt just a little bit underneath. Again, not to take the length away, just to get the bulk from underneath there to open up the vision. You've still got a nicely shaped brow. You're always pointing the scissors towards the tip end of the nose, basically. And then you're going to comb it down several times, because every time you do it, you're going to see pieces that just need to be trimmed off. And you always seem to have one brow that just wants to be a little bit funky. But in a nutshell, now if we put that head down, you can see you've got pretty uniformly shaped brows and a nice looking head. Okay. What to do with the rest of it is the big question of the day. Okay. So we're all combed out, we just have to start scissoring. I'm just going to change the position a wee. Okay, so to start scissoring, we're going to take the leg and we're going to comb this fringe down. Now remember, we stopped here, but we're actually going to scissor more to an inch in front, because you don't want this breed to appear like they have a tuck up. And you want to give the illusion of a shorter back. So we're actually going to scissor like that. So your cutoff point was here, but we're going to move it forward underneath, just to give a nicer underline at the end of the day. And you basically just follow the shaping of the dog, except for when you come to that point, you're leaving it longer here and then getting your shorter point. Now for the leg, we divide it into sections, but I'm going to actually part it below the hock to the back pad. I'm going to make a part, and I'm going to hold that leg and I'm going to pull this fur down. Now from the toes, I'm just going to even it up to blend in with the fringe. Now we're going to turn her so you can see a little bit better. From the side, I've still got that part here. I'm going to put my thumb above the hock to hold that leg out. And I'm going to comb the fur now to the side. And again, I'm going to, from the toes up. So you're going to be closer at the toes, heading up for a fuller leg. And from the inside, you're still keeping that part. You're going to comb it down, and you're going to scissor the inside of the leg. Now Now we're just going to go back and we're going to check the whole thing again. We're going to check this underside to see if there's anything we don't like. A little bit there. Then go back to the side. There's a big piece there. Okay. And then on the inside. That actually looks pretty good. And we're not actually going to scissor the back right now. We're going to turn her around. And we're going to take that back leg and we're going to comb all the fur forward and around the toes. And we're just going to round that off in a nice little circle. So that when you have that leg forward, it's all good. Now what we are going to do is we're just going to check between the toes and we're just going to pull out that fur in case we want to trim off just a few ends between the toes, because they'll come and stick out afterwards and you won't like the look of them. So we got to double check that. So now we have a fairly round foot. Again, just do another little check. Okay, now for this is where you're going to have your mouse length. You're just going to comb this all up and just make a nice little scissor just to make a nice line. Now at this point you can, there's that hollow there you can use to lift the leg, and you can comb it now all back where you had that part. And from the pad, clean to the pad, you're going to scissor out, leaving the length of fur at the top. Okay? And to double check the inside of the leg, you can hold the other leg up, pull this up, out, and just look for any uneven ends, and just go back and blend that all in so that from behind you've got a nice solid look. And of course when it dries it's going to look a lot better too. Okay, one leg. Now the second leg may be pretty impossible to get a good view on this. I'm not sure if you can see anything really. Just going to trim that to an inch or so in front, and then again for this back leg we'll do the same thing. We're going to part it at the back from the hock to the pad. If you're scissoring dry you don't do it like this, but I really prefer to scissor with the fur damp. That's just my preference. So again, I wonder if I can turn her just a bit. I can probably get the angle right for you. So again, a little more off the top of the toes. And from that part, you've got your inside edge. So from the toes up. You're slipping. You're slipping. And then again, hold the leg, trim this out, or comb this out rather, and then trim this up, but on an angle so it's longer at the top. Again, we're just going to double check our work. Always a couple little stranglers. I mean, you can go over it and over it and over it, and you're always going to find pieces. Okay, so now we're going to do the back parts. We're going to comb that part down. We're just going to comb this out. We're going to scissor from that pad up on an angle, so we're actually scissoring away from the leg, from the pad up. Now we're going to trim the front of that foot. Oh, a little knot there. What's going on? Little knot. There we go. How'd that get in there? Hey, I don't know. Nice. So just make sure that that is looking pleasing to us. And again, we're going to go back and just check between these toes and pull out any long hairs that are hiding in there that we don't want to see after we're done. Okay, so now we didn't, did we do this? I don't think we did. Just double check this top and just take the very ends off it. So again, it's nicely shaped, and we'll worry about the rest of that later. So for the underline, we're going to pull the front leg forward, and you're going to leave your longest fur at the heaviest point, which is the front chest, and then you're going to scissor upwards to that point you brought about an inch in front of that area at the highest point of the clip ring. I'm just going to get this bulk out of here. You can also take it from the side out, just so you can see from the top. Just do another little swipe. So again, you're not leaving this long, but it's just simply an underline. I'm going to do the other side. No, I can't really do that. You probably aren't going to see this much, guys. I'm trying. On this dog, you just got to be careful if you're dealing with a female. You have to be careful you don't scissor the teats. And you can just hold them up to chuck underneath. And just make sure you've got a clean line underneath here. Make sure you're satisfied that this is all blending in. And just make a nice scissor if there's anything coming out that's not looking like it's blending in. There's a piece of sticking out here and there. And then we can just do a final check on that underline, see where we're at. Not too shabby. Alright, so now front legs. So front legs, again, I'm going to part, and I'm going to part them at the front. And comb all of this to start. I'm just going to turn her slightly so that we can maybe face the camera. Stay. You want to turn that way. But I want to do this way. So hopefully you can see that part. And we're just going to scissor from the toe up. And as we get to the top, we're going to be bringing it in closer. You don't want to have a dog with wings. So again, you can bring it out from the back and get it a little bit closer because you want it all to be part of the same dog. You don't want wings. Some people tend to leave it really long at the top, and that's exactly opposite with what should be done. Okay, and then we're going to hold the leg this way. We're going to take this fur in. So in other words, we're combing on the inside of the part, scissoring straight up on the inside of that leg now, just up into that underarm a little bit. So I'm going to do a repeat there. Nice. Okay. So now we've done side to side. Now we're going to do back. So we're going to just bring everything to the back now from both sides. And scissor that straight up. Okay. Now for this, we want to just make sure that we don't have anything flying away, and we want to make this the shortest part. So again, it's all blended in. So cut into that cleaned out underarm. Stay. So that you don't have anything winging. Okay, now we're going to comb this part down, and we're going to hold the leg back, and we're going to comb it all now forward. And there won't be a lot because you've already scissored the sides and the back, but there'll be more, it'll be heavier over the toe area that you want to keep that clean. Clean that off, tapering it into the toes. And now we're going to do the front of this foot. So combing it all forward. Are you happy? And then rounding it off. Comb it again, because once is never enough. And now you guessed it, we're going to check the toes again. In between those toes, and pull out any long stragglers that have decided to hide in there. And trim those off. They like to do that. Good girl. Then we're just going to check the back of this leg and make sure that behind the hock it's nice and even, which it pretty much is. Okay, now well actually we'll leave that for now and we'll go to the other leg and get it to the same point. So for this leg again, we're going to part it to start. Comb the fur on either side of the part. And trim right up into that underarm. Clean that out. Nice and straight. Okay. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Scissor that straight up. And remember to taper in at the top. And we're going to do the back. And we're just going to take the bulk off the top here again, so we're blending into your shorter clippered point and you don't have any poof out that you don't want. Another real common grooming mistake that a lot make. And we'll just do a quick check here. To make sure that there's no serious stragglers coming out where we don't want them. Okay, and now we are going to do the front of the leg. So again, we're going to comb that now all forward from both sides. Be very little to scissor other than in top of the toes. That of course wouldn't have been got as successfully. Okay, now we're going to do this foot. You got red feet. Not a bad looking foot, other than the color. Red feet. And again, the toes. Good job. And we'll just do a double check on the back to make sure there's nothing hanging down. And there is more on that one than there was on the other one, so we'll fix it. Okay, now we're going to blend this chest into the clippered part and into the legs that have been scissored. So, comb the chest out and then blend from the leg in a straight line towards the clippered area. So you are leaving some fur on the chest, which enhances the forechest, not to give it a puff out, but enhances the forechest, showing bulk of bone. And again, you just want to make sure that everything blends into everything. You just haven't got big steps of different lengths. Like I said, go over it and over it and over it. Now we'll do the other side. Boom, 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 boom. You can see that. So we're going to scissor this up. And I do have my scissors on an angle. I'm not straight up. I am pointed towards the sternum, but not straight across. On an angle. Stay. So for the front of this now, look at this chest, and I knew that that side wasn't, it's the angle I'm doing it for the camera. Put your foot down, there we go. So let's clean out, put your head up, underneath the arm first and make sure that that's all. So we're going to just take from where we scissored the leg and just round that to the underarm, to the underline, without making a hole. So you want to keep the fur there on both sides. See if we can do it this way so that I'm not in front of the camera. See? Alright, so now we're just going to look at this front and you stand like a Schnauzer. I'm going to comb it up. And we're just going to have a look at how this is all coming together. Okay, so as a final check, and we can dry these legs a little bit first, but for the sake of this video, we'll probably just do it with them damp just to save some time. I'll comb the leg up, and I'm just going to shake it. Just going to shake it and let it see. Let's see where, if there's anything obtrusive sticking out. And there's actually not too much. We're going to do the same thing with the other one. I'm going to comb this leg up. And we're going to give it a good shake. Give that leg a good shake. Alright, and let's just see if there's anything obtrusive. Just a couple pieces on the sides there. Okay, now we're just going to look at this chest. Hold the head up out of the way. And just see if there's anything here that comb it up and down. this point. Just trim that all off so that it's looking, not all off, but trim anything that's sticking out off. We're just going to double check under here to make sure that our scissoring is all blended in, and it is. And yeah, I think that's pretty much a wrap on scissoring. This dog is still wet, but all in all, when this dog is dried, I think the finished product should be a-okay. What do you think? What do you think? Let's give those legs a shake. Oh yeah. Yep, that looks okay. So you can either leave them damp and let them dry, or you can blow them dry, and then if there's anything left you can scissor it off, but usually they're pretty good. That's why I go over it multiple times, and there you go. So hopefully that was helpful on trimming, and like I said, you go over it a million times, there's always something more to scissor. But all in all, I think we got pretty much a Schnauzer here. Pretty much a Schnauzer. So hopefully that's helpful to you. Thank you very much. Bye for now.